Welcome back to another episode of the Summer of Me. Happy to be here as usual. There are 97 days left in the year 2025, and we are going to get down to the nitty-gritty business of why you should absolutely be maximizing those 97 days. We're going to call it 100 for the sake of even numbers, and how you can change your life in those 100 days. You are one decision away from changing your life. I am a product of this. I have lived this in many different versions of my life, and it's something that I'm really passionate about because I think that people, when they think about changing their life, when they think about doing something different, it feels overwhelming. It feels daunting. They feel like, I don't know how to do all of that, whether that is start a business, whether that is, to change your relationship status, whether that is to move across the country. There's so many different things that you can do to mix up your life, big, small, like fully life altering, or just like a habit that you can start that's really going to change the trajectory of your health or your fitness or your your living situation or whatever. And so I really did some deep dive research. I've read a lot about this. I have watched every TikTok guru. I'm very passionate about this subject because I genuinely think people overthink it. It is one decision away from making a change in your life. Okay, there is 87, what's the number? 8,700 hours in a year, 8,760 hours in a year. And right now you have 2,400 hours left if you are counting the next 97 days or roughly whatever it is. Basically, that's about 30% of your year that you still have. So many people discount this time of year. It's like, the year's almost over. It's almost the holidays. Start something next year. You're already probably brewing up some New Year's resolutions that you are going to absolutely flop, if studies are correct, by probably February, mid-February of next year. And we in this household, we as in me, I'm the adult, and my children and the people that I surround myself with, this is separation season. Ed Milet has a whole podcast on this. Do not leave this podcast to go listen to it, but listen to it after you listen to this episode. It's called Separation Season, and he talks about how everybody takes this time off. Oh, I'm tired, I'm chilling, I put in my work Q1, 2, and 3, I'm just gonna coast kind of thing. No, this is where you separate, because as everybody else takes a step back, it clears the space and leaves room for you to move forward. There's a Grant Cardone meme, and he's out on his private jet and in the pouring rain, and he's like, I love the rain. I love the rain, because he's like, everybody else stays in, and I have the world to operate. I have free reign because everybody else is, staying inside. And it's the same concept for separation season. And so while you're out here maybe thinking I can't hit a promotion in my business, or I can't move across the country, nobody moves during the holiday, I can't do X, Y, and Z. I'm sure you've already formulated something in your brain. I believe that there are whispers in all of our hearts. There's little corners where it's I want to change that. I want to do that. I want to get a hold of my health and wellness. I want to start working out. I want to start building this business. I want to bring in an extra income for my family. You have something in here that you are just making an excuse for. I can't. It's too late. I'll try next year, whatever. No, you have 100 days, okay? 100 days to go and make a massive change in your life. And I'm going to tell you some ways to do that today. I'm going to hopefully inspire you to take action now, literally in this moment right now, instead of being I'll wait till January. No, fuck you will. You will not wait till January. You're not waiting for Monday. You're not waiting for next quarter. You're not waiting. You're doing it now. We are done waiting. If one more person is I'll wait till next year, I'll wait till Monday, go fuck yourself. We're not waiting for anything else, okay? Because guess what? Not to sound totally crass, but you could be dead on Monday. You could be dead next year. You might not make it to 2026. I have had those experiences in my life. My dad died overnight. I was out of town, didn't get to say goodbye to him, didn't have that great of a last conversation, if I'm being totally frank. He didn't make it to 2013. He didn't make it to see the birth of my son. I've had a lot of death around my life, and I am somebody who probably takes more massive action than maybe the average person, because I have seen where people don't make it. They don't make it to Monday. They don't make it to next quarter, next week, next year. So you have to take this action now, and it's going to propel you in such a way that you can't even imagine. Anyways, let's get into it. I want you to think about whatever change you want to make in your life as the power of one decision. Science says that habits are formed in about 66 days. That means if you decide and commit today, you are going to cross into the new year with an entirely new persona. Oftentimes we make these one big decision, it becomes our identity. We change so much about our lives just based on one decision. So let's just take this one from the angle of like, I'm going to start working out. Last year in 2024, I went through a very, very traumatic breakup, far more traumatic than my divorce in a lot of ways. I genuinely was like, I don't know how I am going to get to tomorrow, let alone the next hour. I was like, I don't know how to eat a meal. You ask anybody, any of my close friends, like they will say that was the darkest days that they've ever seen me in. And I was like, I have to do something to physically get out of my body. And so I hired a personal trainer. That was my one decision. My one decision was like, I hate working out. I don't want to go to a gym. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. But I also know that I have to make one decision to change the trajectory of my life. And I cannot even tell you, if I hadn't started working out, what ways my life would look different. First and foremost, I hire Fiona as her name. She was a godsend. I can't tell you how many times I tried to cancel on this bitch. I was like, oh, I don't feel like it. No, she's like, I'll be there. I'm showing up at your door at 9 a.m. You better open the door. Like, I'll be there. I'm ringing the doorbell till you come downstairs. Like, that one decision, it got me on a path to moving my body every single day, to starting to eat healthier, to creating healthier habits with Arbonne, to opening up a business with Arbonne, to creating this massive flow of income for my family, to building all of these incredible friendships that I've built, to moving my body and being the healthiest and most fit I've ever felt in my life, to traveling with I can't even tell you the cascade that hiring a personal trainer has done for my life. And that was out of a place of sheer desperation. I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it to tomorrow if I don't take one small action. I sent her a text. I can probably find it. And I was like, hey, I need some help. I don't know what to do. She was a godsend in so many ways in my life. So I really encourage you, think about like, what do I want? Like, who do I want to be? What do I want? What is this whisper? What is this corner of my heart saying that like I need or want to change something? Maybe that's your finances. Maybe that's your health. What is one action, like one simple decision that you can take today, like today, in this very moment, where you could send a text to somebody, you could purchase the one thing that's going to make a difference for your life. You could sign up for the business. You could, have the conversation and do it. Like, make the one decision, because every time we make a decision, it has a cascading domino effect on so many other parts of our life. And I can assure you that if you are committed to whatever decision that might be, it's going to change your life in a lot of ways. People who set a specific goal are 10 times more likely to achieve it. So it's not about having the perfect plan or the perfect 100 days. It's about having that goal, that decision, that like one clear thing in your head, like, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to make money for my family. What is it going to be? Choosing that as your non-negotiable and then carrying it forward every single day. Your 100 days is going to be a hot mess. I'm just going to warn you right now. The first 100 days of anything, like, first of all, it takes 66 to even build a fucking habit. So you're going to have to choose it for 66 days. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is my go-to. If you guys haven't heard that from Mel Robbins, it's like, I don't want to get out of bed every single day, but I chose to get a divorce from my husband. So there's days where I have no choice but to get out of bed and get my kids off to school, make lunches, do the whole bit. I open my eyes, I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I got to get up. So it's going to be the first 66 days is going to be the roughest. And then you have the 100 days that's going to carry you through after that. And I can assure you, it's going to feel messy. It's going to feel sloppy. It's going to feel just as fucking messy and sloppy if you start January 1st. Probably more, because you're going to be in a whole different headspace. It's going to feel hard and messy and sloppy if you start next Monday, if you start next week, if you start next month. Just start now. The start is what stops people. It is the hardest part, hands down, but you have to make one small decision, okay? And I like, pains me to think, like, I know deep down, I know every single person listening to this episode has that one thing that it's already probably in your mind. It's already popped in. I want to do this. I want to change this. I want to be this person. I want to evolve into this situation. I want my life to look like this. I want to live here. Start today, okay? Here's why the last 100 days of the year matter. 80% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions by February. 80%, okay? Odds are stacked against you, sis. Which means if you start today, you are already ahead of the curve come New Year's, okay? You're already beating people out. I went to Mexico last week with a bunch of people that I do Arbonne with. It was like an awards trip. And there is a promotion right here. You can see it. MVP, that's the next promotion. It's the top 1% in the company. It's the number one rank. And I want to be that. Like, I want to be the person that is MVP. I want to have a team. I want to have girls on my team that are hitting ranks that allow me to get to MVP and them to get to MVP. I want to be a national vice president with Arbonne, okay? Like, that is just the decision that I have made. I'm going to be that person. However, things don't go as planned, like life happens or whatever, and I am not on pace to be where I want to be at this time of the year. And so I was talking to these other girls who are also pushing for this, and they're like, hey, are you going to like start running for this promotion? That's what we call it, like running for a promotion, running for a rank, whatever. They're like, are you going to be pushing for this for like October, November, December? And I'm like, no, I'm not even close. Like no, I'll just wait till next year. Okay. Yeah. They're like, no, you're going to do it with us. Like you're not that far behind basically. And I've talked on here, I think before about like borrowing people's faith and borrowing people's hope. And in that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, like I can do this. Like I might not hit it, but then I was having another conversation with somebody and she was like, even if you don't hit it, you're going to be ahead of if you were to wait till next year to push for it, which why would I even wait? Number one. But number two, like you're going to be ahead of the curve. You're already going to be halfway there by January instead of starting in January and then having to go halfway and having a whole nother year where you're doing this. And so just start now. You're going to tomorrow, next week, next year, you're going to wish that you started earlier. Like there's not anything that I've ever done that's changed my life where I'm like, damn, I wish I would have started this earlier. I wish I would have started working out years ago. Like what a gift to my mental health and to my body and my physique. I wish that I would have started the Arbonne business sooner. Like I wish I would have trusted my gut and knew that it was time to leave when it was time to leave and started sooner. Like I would be further along at this point. So again, I really encourage you, make that decision and do not and start now as your January 1st. Like think about now as your Monday. It is 100 days left, 97 to be exact, but this is your time to start. There's something about cycles and time. So basically businesses run on quarters because the human nature likes like a 90-day push. Like that is like what we feel is attainable. Studies just show that like we respond best to a 90-day push. And so basically like Q4, obviously for the holidays, it's a big thing, but it's also a big push for a lot of things in people's lives because it feels like the end. Like it's like, okay, fuck, I've dicked off all year long. I got to get to business. I got to get to work. And so use the natural momentum of Q4 to do something really big and to change who you are and who you walk into 2026 as. Here's 3 to 4 things that you can do to start this trajectory and change the next 100 days, okay? So number 1 is decide your non-negotiable. Figure out like what is the one thing that I'm going to do. And it doesn't have to be big. I don't want you to be like, I'm going to start a business. No, you're going to get lost in the sauce. That is too overwhelming. It's too big of a picture, okay? I remember when I was going through my divorce, I would say like, I got to get through my divorce. And my lawyer would be like, nah, dog, you got to get to next week. Like you got to get to tomorrow. You got to get to the next email. Like you have to take it way back, pull it way back, take it down a few notches, take it down a lot of notches, and really break it down to one simple thing that you can do, because that one simple thing is going to lead to another simple thing and another simple thing. And before you know it, these habits stack, these behaviors stack, and you become a completely different person. One clear decision changes everything. Moving your body for 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, reduces your risk of death from all causes by 20%. Okay. That is not small. That is life altering. And so me telling you that and painting that picture is like, you don't have to be working out of the gym every single day. You don't have to be like, a fitness bitch. You don't have to be going and doing all these things. 20 minutes, 3 times a week. I guarantee you spend that scrolling. Guaranteed. And if you don't, you're a fucking liar. I'm sorry. You're petting your dog. You're scrolling on Instagram. You're staring out the window, probably watching a Netflix show. I posted a poll yesterday on Instagram that was like, what are people watching? The most responses I've ever gotten on a question box in my life. I'm like, oh, you guys are all just watching TV. That's what people are doing in the world. Everybody's just sitting around watching TV. Okay. So number 1, decide what your non-negotiable decision is. Okay. Number 2, decide your container. The average person spends 2.5 hours a day scrolling social media. Gulp. 2.5 hours a day scrolling social media. If you reclaimed even half of that over the next 100 days, that's 125 hours. The same as 3 full work weeks that you could pour into your dream, your business, your body, your future self. Okay? 2.5 hours. I personally, on my weakest days, I'm going to be straight shooting with you guys. I probably scroll longer than 2.5 hours. Between like all the times in the day, whether I'm sitting down on the couch with the kids, whether I am in traffic, whether I am laying in bed at night, drinking my coffee in the morning, like if you added all of my scroll time, it's probably longer than that. Some of that is like research for different reels or products or whatever, but like still I'm scrolling. I be sitting, I be scrolling, and I don't want to be, okay? I want to be changing my life in that time. And so cut out some of those. There's different devices. You can use Brick. You can lock your apps on your phone. Just put your phone in another room. Figure out what your container is. Like, how can you take your non-negotiable and fit it into your life, all right? Nobody has time for another job. Nobody has more time, like, right? Like, we're all feeling like we're pressed for time. What are you going to cut out of your life? What are you going to contain in your life so that you can add in this one thing, that you can fit in this one thing, change this one thing, okay? And then decide what your fuel is for this, okay? So number one, you're going to decide your non-negotiable, you're going to decide your container, and then you're going to decide your fuel. Why are you doing this? What is your input that is going to allow you to change your output? Are you going to listen to podcasts about the thing that you're doing? Are you going to cut out TV? Are you going to surround yourself with different people? Are you going to change the input of your food so that it allows you to output a different workout? Like, what is it that you are going to input in your life to change your output? We take all this shit in and like scrolling and all these, TV, all this stuff that we take in, but are we cautious about what we're taking in because it affects what we're putting out, okay? And then decide what your standard is. James Clear did the math on this. If you improve 1% every single day, 1% every single day, after 100 days, you're up 2.7% better than when you started. That the flip side of that is if you do nothing, you are the same person. So people all the time are like, well, I can't build a whole business. I can't get to the promotion that I want to get to in 100 days. I can't change my whole body composition in 100 days. No, but you can be better every single day, like a little bit better every single day. And not only in doing that are you going to build a habit, but you're actually going to be closer to where you want to be. You're going to change who you are as a human. And again, we're not even talking about the one thing that you're changing. We're talking about the fallout that happens. Like, I look at starting an Arbonne business, okay? A small change in the scheme of life. I changed jobs, right? Like, I changed fields of jobs. It has changed every friendship that I've had. It has changed the financial opportunities that I've had, the places I am able to afford to live. It has changed the travel opportunities. It has changed my dating life. It has changed every part of my life has cascaded and changed because I decided to take one risk and decide to switch companies from Young Living to Arbonne. That has changed the entire trajectory of my life. Same thing goes with working out. Now I choose to move my body every day. Now I choose to eat healthier. I look different. I feel different. I have a different circle of friends. It's changed all these different things in my life. Like, I could go on and on about all the places I've chosen to live, the people I've chosen to date. Everything that you do has a fallout effect. And so I really, really encourage you, think about, what is that one thing? What do I want to change? Where do I want to be in my life? How do I want to show up on January 1st? Do I want to show up as the same version I am today, wishing, hoping, and dreaming about changing something? Or do I want to show up on January 1st and be like, damn, I've been crushing it since September. I'm so glad I'm this person. January 1st, I'm going to the gym. February 1st, I'm going to the gym. March 1st, I'm going to the gym. Like, your habits aren't changing because you've already built them before the new year hits. You have 100 days left in 2025. Go do something that's going to change your path. You don't need a whole plan. You don't need 20 goals. You need one decision. And that is a decision that you will look back on December 31st and be like, hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. I am so glad I listened to that podcast episode. I am so glad I listened to Separation Season. I'm so glad I decided to take this one thing that's been eating away at me, but that's been bugging me, that it's been haunting me, that I've been thinking about, dreaming about, like pushing down, trying to resist. I took it and I ran with it. I made one decision that's going to get me a step closer. And the next day I made another decision. And then I built a habit. And then I changed my lifestyle. And now all of a sudden I am a different person. How fucking cool is that? Like, that is why I love life. I love living because you can be a different person. Anything that you want, you can absolutely do. You just have to be willing to make the one uncomfortable decision to start it and redo it every freaking day until finally it becomes like, this is just who I am. Thanks for listening to another episode of The Summer of Me.